Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I have a few things I want to talk about in today's video. The Z8. Was I wrong about the overheating thing? The ZF. Am I going to get one or am I going to wait for Z6 III? Also, the A9 III. What's all the fuss? I'm going to dive a little bit deep into that one and tell you about what I think about this camera compared to some past cameras. And also, new lens, the 17 to 28 2.8. Yep, I decided I should just go ahead and get me a new Nikon lens. So without further ado, let's get started. So we have a few things to talk about. I decided to do something a little bit different today. Rather than do separate videos, just kind of throw all of them in one while they're all kind of on my mind and things that I want to talk about. So first thing I want to talk about is this lens. This is the 17 to 28. I saw this when I was at the photo event and I tested out in the ZF. It was actually, a pretty good balanced lens and I like it. One of the things I did notice about the lens is that it does have some focus breathing issues. And I say issues, it's more focus breathing than I would have expected. And when I tested it at the show on the ZF, I didn't notice too much, and it's probably because it was too wide. I wasn't really paying attention to the corners. But in some additional testing, I kind of saw that. For me, it's a bit annoying, but it's not like a major thing. I could deal with it. As far as how it performs in photos, it's been pretty good. I'll show you some images of the photos so you can see what it's like. But my main purpose was for video because I wanted to have something that I can use when I'm indoors and want to be closer to the camera if I'm in a small space that I'm working with and I don't want to really work with the Sony at the moment. And saying I don't want to work with it, it's great. You're watching the image from the Sony right now. I found something that kind of works well, and that's the HLG mode. I don't have to do too much editing. Straight out of the camera, comes out looking good. But this is leading to our next topic. Am I getting the ZF? Well, that's still up in the air, but you guys can kind of tell how it kind of works, right? Usually when I'm buying stuff, I'm kind of preparing for the next thing. So let's talk about the ZF for a moment. I'm going to contrast that with the Z6. Well, Z6 II. There's some things in the Z6 II that I really loved about it, image quality and so on, that the ZF has improved upon. And when I start thinking about, I have a camera that I can go out in the street, take some photographs, and I can do some vlogging with if I want to record on the street. The Z8 is on the bigger side for that. But I will admit, I do love the feel of the Z8, and I do tend to carry around more when I'm on the street if I'm going to be shooting photographs or want to do some video footage, because it's an 8K camera, right? And sometimes you want to snap some images of something that looks really cool and you want to incorporate it in your video, so it's a really cool camera to have. That being said, oversample 6K in 10-bit and log, these are the things that start me thinking. Two cameras, ZF, Z8. Image quality are going to be roughly on the same. You have N-Log, I can do some editing and I can match up the footage. But that also got me thinking, there's some times when you want to shoot some raw footage, probably not too great outside. You want to, well, as far as light is concerned, light and dark, and you want to be able to have that latitude in your footage to be able to do some editing and bring things to the level that you wanted to do. While I'm still learning, it's something that I know that I can do on the ZF and the FX30. Having RAW is an extra option. So in my mind, I keep saying, dude, you should wait for that Z6 III and see what it's really going to be like. And the reason why I said this, the raw footage from the Z8 is really awesome. When I played with the Z6 II and recorded and log footage on it, it looked really good. And I can only imagine what the next level of raw on that camera is going to be like because I have the Z8. So I'm still in a bit of a dilemma of whether or not I'm going to get it. I wanted to wait a little bit to see what it's like. And my plans in the future was go to Japan, get the color you want, get the Nikon grip, be happy. Only to be let down by this latest news that cameras are sold out in Japan until May 2024. Yeah, that kind of bites. But maybe by then there'll be a Z6 III. So stay tuned for that chapter. For whatever else is coming, I'm somewhat prepared for a street vlogging lens. So we'll see. Does that mean I'm going to be fully back in the Nikon? That's a possibility. Because I'm for sure not going to get an A9 III. That's a good segue, right? So, A9 III. A lot of people have been talking about this camera. I decided not to jump in the beginning because, you know, first and foremost, when you look at it, it's like $6,000 for a regular non-professional camera. Really? Sony? Come on. Yeah, you got a great sensor inside of it. Nice rolling shutter. Well, global sensor for eliminating rolling shutter issues. In the old days, I'm talking Nikon side, Canon, they usually split up the line, right? Remember we used to have D2, D2X, D2XS. We had D4, D4H, I think it was an H, or X and XS. I can't remember the nomenclature on all of them. But we did have separate lines for studio camera, sport camera, and a kind of sort of all around one in the old days. And they kind of separated, well, yeah, you can do sport, really fast stuff, and then you have your studio stuff that's, you know, really high dynamic range, really good quality thing. So that's been on the DSLR side. Then the Z9 came out and gave you everything in one body. Sport, got you covered. Studio, you're covered. High quality video, you're covered. They just did everything in that camera, right? So when you think about what the professional body cost, anywhere between $5,000 and $6,500 back in the day. We're in 2023. I think the big issue for a lot of people is the amount of megapixels in the camera. If we go back then, DX, crop sensor, that's all you had. And then you got full frame sensors. And you still had low megapixels for sports, and you had high megapixels for your studio work. So that was normal. We're in the mirrorless age, and people expecting with each iteration that you're still going to be looking at higher megapixels. Sony A7 IV has 32 megapixels, right? You have the A7R V with 60 megapixels. You kind of got pigeonholed into your thinking as far as what you should expect from cameras. 24 megapixel, $6,000 seems kind of ridiculous, even with the global shutter sensor, right? That's just, yeah, 24 megapixel is what we're expecting in a lower tier camera. And for Sony, if you think about the A7S III, FX3, people kind of like, why the heck you get a 12 megapixel sensor? But video guys were like, hey, fantastic dynamic range, great low light performance. Yeah, we'll take it. So seeing now a sports camera with a 24 megapixel sensor that is more designed for shooting in the kind of lighting situations that sports guys use, ISO 250, you know, it's a decent level to 25.6. Do you really need more than that? Probably not. Those guys are not going to need it. We are in the holiday seasons. Lots of sales are coming up. As an Amazon associate, I do have links in my description area, and I'd like to ask that you utilize some of these links when you're considering your purchases this holiday season. Whether it's for Black Friday or, well, early Black Friday, which just started, you can utilize the links to make purchases. And the links are going to be there in most of my videos, whether it's tech stuff or otherwise. You can use the link to get started with your shopping. And if you purchase something else during the session, I will get credit for it. It's not a big amount, a small amount, but every little thing helps. So if you enjoyed watching the video and you want to support the channel, please remember, use the links when you're shopping on Amazon so that we can get a little kickback from Amazon to help out the channel. Thank you. Is it a deal killer for some people? Yes. Because, you know, there's a talk about is it a niche camera, and a lot of us saying, yes, it is a niche camera because of what it's designed for. But it's not a major thing. I don't think people should make a fuss about it. If you want the camera and you can afford it, get it. If you don't want it, it's not for you, forget about it. There are tons of other cameras out there. So it's a new thing. Congrats, Sony. You come up with something that's really nice, that is leading the charge in the hybrid market. It's fantastic. Does it make the rest of the cameras on the market obsolete? Heck no. I love my Z8. It's a well-rounded camera. It's a baby Z9. Got awesome film features, minimum rolling shutter, high speed shooting, high frames per second for when you want to do sports. It's a well-rounded camera. You know, megapixels, 45 for studio work, for landscape work, got it covered. Yeah, this can do all of it, and $1,500 less than the Z9. If you want the Z9 because you want to have that extra grip, sure, you can get that as well. And I think that's probably what some of us, I know I thought about it in the beginning, like, why would you want to make that camera without a grip? You have to spend like another $5,000 for the grip. And that's grip and extra battery if you want to be at the same level as Canon and Nikon when it comes to professional bodies. But for some people, they want a smaller, lighter body. You can argue with that. It is lighter than the A7R III. I did look at the specs on it. I'm not going to go to all the specs, but I did look at a lot of these things. And for me, yeah, it's not my camera. This does the job for me. This is the better fit for my use case. And I think for a lot of other people's use case. Now that I'm back in Thailand, I just saw a weird thing on my Z8. While I was setting up my little studio here and running the cables and making sure everything is set up and checking my settings on it, because since I switched from camera to camera, I have to make sure that my monitor is showing, you know, the right image, whether it's HLG or I'm using N-Log. I want to make sure I'm selecting the correct LUT. So I'm putting everything together. I noticed that the camera screen says hot card. Okay, not filming. Well, you know, it is a bit warm in this area that I'm at, because where I'm sitting is a little alcove. There's a window over here where I get the light to light my face. Air conditioning is pretty much right over here, a little bit further back. So the air is not blowing in this direction. So this area is a little bit warmer than the rest of the room. Even when I'm recording, sometimes I turn off the AC to avoid all the noise, so it gets even warmer. That being said, I didn't expect to see a hot card warning when I wasn't recording. Anyhow, I took the card out, put it over there, let it cool, and as I'm doing my thing setting up, I heard a clicking sound. The camera shut off. Okay, why is the camera shutting off? I'm still trying to adjust things here. Turn the camera back on, hot camera warning. What? Okay, that's kind of weird. Okay, turn it off, let it wait a couple minutes, turn it back on, hot card warning again, but there's no card in the camera. I'm starting to wonder, well, what's going on here? In Malaysia for the last few months, didn't have that issue come up. Only time I got that warning and the camera shut down is when I was tested 8.3K RAW with that memory card. I know this area is kind of warm because the A7R III did generate hot card warning and hot camera warning in the same section. So I don't think it's an issue with the Z8. I just think that it's just a warm area. But it also kind of struck me as odd since I wasn't recording. Still love my Z8 because it does everything that I needed to do. I wish Nikon would make a camera with a fan on it. Because I'll tell you, this FX30, the reason why it's been relegated to in-studio use is because I can record in this little space or wherever I'm at, and if I turn off the air conditioning, it doesn't throw me a warning about any overheated card or any overheating of the camera. And that's one of the reasons why it's kind of hard to part with. I know I really want to get my hands on a ZF or a Z6 III, but I'm really hoping that Nikon comes out with something with a fan on it. All our situations are different, and depending on where you are when you're recording, when you're doing video, having something with a fan built in it for long recording sessions is helpful. So Nikon, if you watch my videos, I'm a small channel, but maybe you guys do, please come up with something with a fan on it. I want to thank you guys for watching the videos. Please subscribe to the channel. Oh, Black Friday is coming up. I have links below in all my videos on camera gear. If you're looking for something other than camera gear, you can use a link on Amazon and you can make a purchase. Please support the channel by using the links. I'll greatly appreciate it. And I plan on making a whole lot more videos. I got a lot of things in my mind that I want to put out there. I didn't want to do separate videos for this thing, and you probably will see some of them jumbled together. But as I do like separate reviews, because I do a review for this lens that I'm working on, that I want to spend some time and really get into the nitty-gritty on it and show you guys that. So stay tuned, and again, thanks to those who've subscribed. And if you love my video and you've been watching and you're not subscribed, get subscribed. If you're not signed into YouTube and know a YouTube account, set one up, because a lot of you guys who are watching my videos are not subscribed. And I'm going to assume that it's because some of you don't actually have a YouTube account. But if you watch your favorite YouTubers and you want to, put a comment or something, it's kind of useful if you have a YouTube account. So do that. Set up a YouTube account, give it a thumbs up, make the comments. I like interacting with you guys and hear what you have to say. And also, if you have some comments on videos that you'd like to see in the future, let me know. Put them in the comments area. I want to make sure the channel is communicating with you guys and giving you information that you want so you can keep coming back. It's a two-way street. I give you what you want, you give me what I want. I'm asking for your subscription and to, click on my links and buy some merch. Well, not merch, but products. I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys what you want, not just what I want to put out there, but I want to hear from you guys as well.